So my daughter Emma was diagnosed with Rett syndrome on May 8th of 2019. It's a rare neurological disorder that literally affects every part of her body. The ability to eat, speak, walk, breathe. The way that it was best described to us when Emma was diagnosed was it's like having cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, and Parkinson's disease all in one. So as you can imagine, when we got the diagnosis, it was extremely heartbreaking for us. At 12 months of age, Emma was still not walking, wasn't crawling, really did not like tummy time. We went to Cincinnati Children's genetics department, did a very basic round of genetic testing. Everything came back normal. So Emma at 15 months was still, at this point, did not have any real words, wasn't walking, still no progress with development. And so we then were able to do the next set of round of genetic testing, which included looking at a lot more, and took about 12 weeks. Seemed like the longest 12 weeks of my life to find out what our daughter was gonna have, and received a phone call on May 8th saying, "This is what your daughter has." I asked, will she walk? Will she talk? They're like, unfortunately, probably not. And then said to get on the International Rett Syndrome Foundation website, and that's where you can find out more information on exactly what this is. So I put in our information, and I was connected with a family engagement manager at the International Rett Syndrome Foundation, who called me that same evening at 7 p.m. and talked to me for 2 hours on the phone. That time frame that I spoke to her really helped me in that moment. It was just a very hard thing to accept, but she truly understood what I was going through because she too has a daughter who has Rett syndrome. And at the end of that 2-hour conversation, I said to her, "You have been such an inspiration to me, and I know that at some point in my life, I will be ready to raise awareness and share Emma's story and advocate for our girls, because you have helped me so much in that moment." And to come full circle 5 years later, I've been able to do that. And it's really, truly been such an amazing opportunity, because all I want to do is advocate for my daughter and advocate those living with this disease. It's just been a great opportunity to be able to even share this with all of you, and knowing that working at CTI and having the opportunity to make a difference and be part of an amazing corporation that supports rare disease, knowing that your daughter has a rare disease, just gives us and our family so much hope. So the Rett Syndrome National Summit was held in 2024 in Colorado, and I had the opportunity to speak and tell a little bit about Emma's journey on a newly FDA approved drug. And but as you know, finances can be a little bit difficult. So I was given the opportunity to reach out to NORD, and they were gracious enough to help fund some of my cost expense to be able to go and speak at this conference. So being able to share Emma's journey and connect with all of those other parents that have kids that have Rett syndrome, the people that I got to meet, the opportunities that I was given in that moment would not have been possible without NORD. There is a lot going on in this space right now, so we're very excited for what the future holds for Emma. So 25 years ago is when it was discovered what Rett syndrome is. 20 years ago, there were no drugs on the market or any clinical trials being worked on. Within the last 5 years, there's now 20 pharmaceutical companies that are currently working on clinical trials to support hopefully gene therapy or some type of medication to help cure this disease. And actually in the last year, there's been 2 gene therapies that have been ramped up and is actually in humans that is ongoing right now. So the hope for a cure for this is within our reach, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where that takes us. The International Rett Syndrome Foundation has a actual page that speaks to getting involved. I would say there's lots of community and national events that occur. One that's near and dear to our heart is there is a strollathon every year for all of our Rett kiddos that live actually specifically in the Cincinnati area. The International Rett Syndrome Foundation is actually in Cincinnati as well. The other thing that I'd like to mention is donating. So a lot of organizations and charities, we get no national federal funding for our organization for research. All of our research money is raised by individuals and companies that want to donate to us. So, making sure that people are getting involved, raising awareness, letting people know what Rett syndrome is, like what I'm doing right now is huge to our community, would be the best place that I would say that where our community can get involved.